I open the joint meeting to call the Parish Council meeting to order.
I call the City Council meeting to order.
Say it again. I didn't have the mic on.
I call the City Council meeting to order.
Okay. We welcome you to a special joint meeting of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council. As presiding officer and chair, I would like to announce the following. This is a public hearing. To address the council on any item on this agenda, we ask that you please fill out the request form and submit it to our clerk prior to the call of the agenda item, or you will not be given an opportunity to speak. Staff assistance is available if needed. Items for submission to the council should be handed to Council Clerk Ms. Veronica Williams, who is seated to my left and in the middle. When addressing the council, we ask that you please state your name for the official title and record. We do have a 5-minute rule that will be in effect. No debating or confrontational statements will be allowed. The front row to my left, once again, is for media only. All media video equipment must remain behind the red lines that we have. Thank you so much. Food and drinks are not allowed in the auditorium, and we ask that you please silence all phones and electronic devices. Meeting procedures are by resolutions and not by Robert's Rules of Order. All documents with reference to meetings can be found on our beautiful LCG website. Finally, the council encourages your involvement in boards and commissions, and if you're interested, we ask that you call 291-8800. Moving right along to chair announcements, make a note that Councilman Josh Carlson from District 3 will be absent, and that's due to a previously scheduled business. This is a special joint meeting of the Lafayette Parish Council and Lafayette City Council. At times during the meeting, I will defer to the City Council Chair to preside over City Council matters. On the chair, at this time, being we have the whole council here and with everything going on with viruses and stuff like that, I want to call up at this time Dr. Tina Stefanski to give us an update on the coronavirus and kind of give us her information.
Good evening, members of the councils, Mayor President. Congratulations to many of you for your new positions, and I look forward to working with you all over the years. And a great big thanks for your support of the parish health unit activities in this parish. And I'll tell you that we have one of the most highly respected parish health units here in Lafayette, statewide, and has been for several years, and definitely would not be the case without your support. Other parishes around the state have actually seen a decline in public health services, and we're very fortunate that we're actually leading the way statewide on many initiatives. So I won't use my 5 minutes. I'll be really brief just to update you all on coronavirus. And Sidra knows how to get in touch with me, so please feel free to call me anytime if you've got questions or if your constituents do. So I'm sure y'all have seen on the news that there's a novel virus or a new virus. It's being referred to as COVID-19, first appeared in China in December, and so there's still a lot to be learned about this particular virus. Has sickened over 90,000 people across the world, and in the United States, the case count is about 100 as of today, and that number is constantly changing. So we don't have any cases in Louisiana. This is a virus that unfortunately does not make most people very sick. In most people, it's very mild. It spreads very similar to the flu, and the symptoms are similar to most upper respiratory infections: cough, fever, maybe some shortness of breath. The group that is made most sick by this virus seems to be the elderly and people who have other underlying medical problems, so heart disease, cancer, liver problems, kidney disease, diabetes. So it is a very vulnerable group of individuals who are most affected. So the numbers are about probably 16% more likely to develop serious infection in those groups. So just to tell you what we're doing here in Louisiana to prepare, again, we have no cases. As of Friday evening, our state public health lab in Louisiana received those test kits from CDC that you've probably been hearing a lot about. So we do have testing capability in Louisiana, but that's only for hospitalized individuals who meet certain criteria. The FDA is working to approve tests for physicians, walk-in clinics, ERs, to be able to test for those people who are not hospitalized, who they suspect might have this particular virus. So we suspect that as those test kits are rolled out, hopefully very soon, we'll see cases. I mean, the good news is there are probably people who are who have very mild symptoms who aren't affected, and so otherwise would not rise to the level of attention for needing this hospitalized approved test. So we expect to see cases rise. And so for you all to know, in this community, we've been in contact with the Mayor President's office, with the GOSEP director, which is Craig Stansberry, sharing all the information out and asking them to help us share the message with those that they work with, particularly businesses. We're in constant communication with hospitals and healthcare facilities. We have a great group here in Acadiana, as I'm sure you all realize. We work with the school system, with UL, SLCC, the Cajun Dome. So everyone's essentially brushing off their pandemic plans. These are something that most of these entities are very familiar with, and know that they need to prepare if there was something in our community, or if we did see a greater number of cases in this community and more community spread here, then we may have to look at community interventions that y'all been, again, hearing about on the news, these community mitigation interventions, where we try to limit people's exposure to other people and encourage people who are sick, as always, they need to be staying home. We may, start to work with city and parish officials on additional measures if we did to see more cases, or to see any cases or a great community spread. But again, we're not at that point. Now it's just reminding people we still have very sick people with the flu in this community, and just reminding people that the way you prevent the flu and exposure to the flu is the same way that you prevent exposure to this virus, and it's keeping your hands clean, avoiding touching your hands. Just don't touch your face with your hands. It's the greatest way that we introduce germs into our body, and stay home if you're sick. So do you have any questions?
Yes, ma'am, we have a council member.
Okay.
Councilman Nakam. Andy, you have the floor.
Dr. Stefanski,
Yes, sir.
thank you for coming forward. You indicated that there has been many cases of flu in this area. How serious have they been? Have they resulted in any deaths?
Yes.
They have.
And so it's actually very concerning. I've had a few doctors call just even in the last couple of days to say, we're very concerned that, this COVID-19 is really ellipsing the big problem that we have right now in this community. And the strain that's circulating I'll skip that word. Interestingly, you probably remember in 2009, H1N1, I bet you remember with the school
Yes, I do.
systems, it was a big deal. So that's actually the strain that's circulating now, and it makes young people sick. So in addition to older people, middle-aged people, and we've had very sick people with this virus, with the flu virus, hospitalizations and death.
So regardless of whether it's the coronavirus or the flu, the susceptibility, if your immune system is reduced to begin with, is where your problems come in.
Correct.
If you have other secondary diseases to deal with,
Yes.
liver problems, diabetes, et cetera, age is a factor.
Correct.
Okay, but we have had a high incidence of flu in this area.
Yes,
We've
and
had
so-
some problems. So the big thing is to make sure everybody just washes their hands,
Yes.
sneeze into your arm, and stay away from sick people. And if you're sick, don't go out.
Right.
Stay home.
Exactly. That's it.
And
Yeah.
one other comment, met you first about 8 years ago, and I want to thank you for your commitment
Oh, thank
to this city and this parish. You're very dedicated in what you do, and I can tell you love what you do.
Yeah.
And I've seen that in the way you exhibit yourself, and thank you again for all your efforts. It's not just us, you are the driver,
Oh,
and I
wow.
want to thank you for that, Dr. Stefanski.
Thank you. I appreciate very kind words. Yeah, we have a great dedicated group
Very.
of public health individuals.
Your whole
in this parish.
staff
Yes.
is very well informed and very well educated, and they take care of many people's problems. I mean, y'all
Yes.
probably are underfunded, but you do an awful lot with what you get, and I want to
Thank
thank you for that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. We see about 1,800 people a month through the doors at the Parish Health Unit in Lafayette, which I bet surprises a lot of people. So we have great ability to touch lots of people in this community, so thank you.
Is that it, Mr. Nakam? You good? Okay, thank you, sir. Councilman Rubin, you have the floor.
How you doing?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for
Good.
coming.
Thank you.
Question is, as far as staying away from catching the virus, how effective is like your Clorox wipes and your Lysol and things of such? So if, like, let's say somebody gets sick and we just start spraying Lysol all around, will that help kill germs? Kill the germ?
It might help. So the way this virus spreads, just like the flu, similar to the flu, is through these little respiratory droplets. Someone coughs or sneezes. If you're within about 6 feet of that person and that little droplet lands on you, especially on a mucous membrane, you could be exposed. So the good news is they mostly fall to a surface, so they don't linger in the air very well. So Lysol spraying could be effective. What's really important is surfaces, because we don't yet know how long it'll live on a surface. So commonly touched surfaces to clean and disinfect with, just as you said, those regular household disinfectants is effective in helping to prevent. But in schools, it's very hard to do when these are surfaces that are touched all the time. So which is back to where we say, if you try to keep your hands away from your face, knowing that we'll never keep our environment as clean as it needs to be, then you help to decrease your risk of introducing germs into your body. But all those things that you said are very good at cleaning and disinfecting, which is very important in slowing down the spread of infection like this one.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
Yes,
it.
we appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you for your time. Sorry I missed you in the parish council meeting, but I thought it would be more important for the, all right, thank you so much. Okay. Mayor President, you still have something on the table there, sir?
I'm up?
Yes, sir.
All right. I was engulfed in conversation.
Oh, my bad. Let me go ahead and announce it. Executive Mayor President's report. I'd like to recognize the Mayor President Guillory.
And Mr. Chair, we even practiced this when no one was looking.
I know.
That's all right, though.
That's cool.
We're in this together.
That's it.
Okay. All right. And good evening to both councils and to our citizens that we are so blessed to serve. It's an honor to serve as your Mayor President. For the executive report, let's see. We have a very special proclamation that Councilwoman Nanette Cook and I will present. Let's see. So, who are we going to call her? Would Miss Claire Cook come forward? Let's see. All right. And and we have some, perfect. All right. We're very proud of you. Okay, so we have a very special proclamation. Whereas dance has been an integral part of human rituals, celebrations, artistic expression, and entertainment since the beginning of time. And whereas in Louisiana, the fabric of dance is woven with many layers across cultures, styles, musical inspirations, and regions. And whereas Acadiana Center for the Arts, Basin Arts, and Upstage Live are excited to join forces for Acadiana Dance Month during the month of March 2020. And whereas this month-long celebration aims to increase awareness and advocacy for the art of dance in our Acadiana region. And whereas Acadiana is a region rich with culture and people with a love for dance, with nearly 100 local dance schools, cultural groups, and professional companies, student organizations, a university program, and dance service providers. And whereas on behalf of the people of Lafayette, Louisiana, I salute all individuals who support these programs. Now, therefore, I, Josh Guillory, Mayor President of Lafayette Consolidated Government, along with Nanette Cook, Lafayette City Councilwoman, District 4, do hereby proclaim the month of March as Acadiana Dance Month in Lafayette, Louisiana, and urge all citizens to join in this celebration of enhancing the cultural economy of Acadiana, in witness whereof we have hereunto set our hands and caused the seal of Lafayette Consolidated Government to be affixed this third day of March in our Lord 2020. Thank you. All right.
Hi, everyone. My name is Claire Cook. Thank you so much, Mayor President Guillory and the council, for having us here. I am the creative director of Basin Arts, and we are here on behalf of Acadiana Dance Month, and we are co-presenting that initiative with the Acadiana Center for the Arts and with PASA, so we're excited to share that with you. Acadiana Dance Month began in 2018, so this is our third year of this initiative, and it aims to increase awareness and advocacy for the art of dance throughout the entire region, and really share how dance reflects and impacts our local community. So as you mentioned, there are over 100 dance schools just in the Acadiana region alone, which means there are thousands of people that engage in some way with the dance community each year. Could be students, teachers, parents, performance venues, lighting and costume designers, professional dancers, visiting artists, and audience members, to name a few. This also means an impressive economic impact, as the dance industry generates hundreds of thousands of dollars annually through its varied activities, which are accessible to all ages. Acadiana has a long legacy of building excellent dancers who have gone on to grace some of the world's greatest stages. This includes Broadway, the Radio City Rockettes, the New York City Ballet, Walt Disney World performers, Lincoln Center, and the Kennedy Center, just to name a few. So I've invited two dancers from Hamilton Academy of the Arts to share just a few words about the role that dance plays in their lives. This is Miss Kristen Sylvester and Miss Tamaya Thomas.
Hi, my name is Kristen Sylvester. I attend Hamilton Academy of the Arts, and I'm the president of Raising the Bar. Dance is literally everything to me. There's never a moment where someone doesn't see me dancing. I've been dancing since I was 3, and ever since then, it's been great. I always look forward to dancing every week, teacher assisting classes. I love learning new things when it comes to dance. The different styles of dance let you express feelings or tell a story that will impact the crowd in a special way. Dance allows me to express my feelings and connect with my audience. Acadiana Dance Month is special because we get to celebrate with our fellow dancers and have fun with creating new movements through dance.
Hi, my name's Tamaya Thomas, and I'm the president of the National Honor Society for Dance Arts, the HHA chapter. We constantly teach people that your body is an instrument in dance. We host promotional events, organize outings, and functions dedicated to a specific cause. But when you raise awareness through dance, you are showing others how powerful movements and songs truly are, inspiring to others, and can raise awareness as a cause. We're doing a fundraiser for Dancers Against Cancer, and we're raising awareness for this girl who has cancer and her family can't afford the bills. So we're doing a fundraiser for her currently. And Acadiana Dance Month lets the dance community come together and be productive in a way that not everyone can relate to, and have an amazing time while doing so.
All right.
Thank you.
That's Nanette's daughter in the blue dress, and that is her grandbaby, and she's affectionately known as Cookie. Yeah, let the record show.
Ma'am, at this time, I'm going to give the floor to Councilman Andy Nakane. He had a question or more information? Hit your, Andy, hit your button.
There we go. Now you can hear. I didn't catch the details on your fundraiser. I don't know if you'd said them, but you might want to say them. That's a public meeting, so it'll get out there.
Yeah, we're doing a fundraiser for a dancer at my studio who has cancer, and we're helping her family pay for the bills and everything that she has to go through for the diagnosis.
And what is the fundraiser? What are you doing and what dates and what's going on with
We
it?
currently have a snap raise out about it, so you can go to the Hamilton Academy of the Arts website and you can click, there's a link on it for a snap raise, and you can click through the link and donate money.
Excellent, excellent. You know, that might get out there and help out, so, and we appreciate what y'all do. I have 3 daughters and they all danced. And I have one that's been dancing, she's 36 now. She's been dancing since she was 4, so.
She dances to Cajun music, right? And Zydeco? Yeah.
You know it.
Yeah. I happen to know your son-in-law.
You know it. So it's a wonderful program y'all have, and I sure wish you luck with that fundraiser. God bless
There.
y'all.
Thank you.
Okay. Councilman Cook? Councilwoman Cook, sorry about
That's all right, it's all good. Thank you very much. I just wanted to thank you, Mayor, for doing the proclamation, and I'm very proud of the dance community that we have here and that all they've contributed to our community through dance. I also wanted to say I just discovered that we have one of our department heads recently, Mr. Hollis Conway. He has a daughter. I wanted to give her a shout out. He has a daughter who's actually dancing on Broadway. She's hit the big time. So I just wanted to recognize that we have a lot of talent that's come from this area, and congratulations to you on having a daughter that's hit the big stage. So we're happy to hear that. All right, that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, we're going to move right along to reports and/or discussion items. Liz, not Liz, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Millages, the basics.
All right, at this time, I'd like to recognize Councilwoman Ms. Abear, and at the same time, bring up the tax assessor and his staff.
Thank you, Chairman.
I got you now. Go ahead.
Got me now? Thank you, Chairman, and thank you to both chairmen for allowing me to add this to the joint meeting, and thank you all for being here. And of course, thank you to our tax assessor, the one and only Conrad Como. I actually met with Conrad my first year on the council 4 years ago, just because I wanted to I was brand new on the council. I wanted to try and learn everything that I could. And he gave me just sort of a Cliff Note version of what, I told him to start from the 4th grade level, what is a millage, work their way down, because I wanted to make sure I wasn't missing anything. And I found our conversation really informative, and I wanted to share it with you all, because I know we have a lot of new council members on here and old. It doesn't hurt for us to continue to learn, and for the people at home as well, so those watching can have a little lesson in our tax system and our millages specific to Lafayette. So I'm going to let Conrad take the floor, but Conrad, thank you, and to your team for being here and setting this up for us.
Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, and I'm also going to request that we put this on the LCG website as well. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hebert and other council members and Mayor President. If you look at the handout, or if you're looking at the screen, in the bottom right-hand corner is the page number of the slide. So if I refer to a page number, you can quickly look at that right-hand corner, see which page I'm referring to. If you turn to page 2, we're going to be talking about Lafayette City Parish property tax system. Now, in local government, and this is true pretty much across the country, local government has 3 primary ways of raising revenue: property tax, sales tax, and use tax. Now, yes, you get some from the federal government, maybe. Yes, you get some from the state government, maybe. But these are your basic ways of generating revenue for local government. And I want to clear up something that's been said through the years, that your revenue stream, and I'm talking about parish revenue stream, because that's the hot topic. The problem with the parish revenue stream has been annexations. That is only partially true, because annexations impact sales tax. It doesn't impact property tax at all. Okay? What impacts property tax, of course, is my office and this council, or these councils. And I'll show you that later, how the impact is and what you have control over. In sales tax, you have very little control. You put a sales tax on the ballot, it's set at a penny or whatever, and then the sales tax is generated by what's happening in the economy. You don't have any control over it, per se. Property tax, you have direct control over. Let's go to page 3. Now, the property tax system is based on the total assessed value, the net taxable assessed value, and then the millages. We'll go to the next page. What is the assessed value? It is the taxable value that is based on a percentage of fair market value. And if you look at the table, all land in Louisiana is assessed at 10% of fair market value. So if you say a lot is assessed at is valued at $100,000 in the market, we assess it at 10% of that, or $10,000. Residential improvements, 10%. Electric co-ops, 15%. Public service properties, 25%. Other property, commercial buildings and movables are at 15%. So that's important to remember. You'll see that more later on. Now, how do you come up with the assessed value? Well, if you look at the first line, residential land market value of $35,000, you multiply that times the 10%, you come up with an assessed value of $3,500. The house valued at $140,000, multiply that by 10%, the assessed value is $14,000. So your total assessed value, $17,500. Pretty simple math. Commercial properties. Here's where it changes. And that's why if somebody asks you as a council member that's in business, my property is worth $500,000, my building and land, what is its assessed value? You can't just take 10% of that. It doesn't work at all with commercial. It's a little trickier. Let's look at business land, and this is the same values, same total value, $35,000 for the lot, 140 for the building, just as residential. But in the commercial building, you have to multiply it times 15% to come up with an assessed value for that building of $21,000 versus $14,000 if it were a house. So when you hear businesses say, yeah, businesses pay more taxes, property taxes, there's your equation that tells you, yeah, they are. For the same value property, yes, a business is paying more. Next slide. Now, how does homesteading exemption apply? Let's look at the same residential property. All right, click. Here's what happens. Here's your total market value, your total assessed value. The homestead exemption, in common terms, we say it's a $75,000 homestead exemption, but in our terms, the state constitution says $7,500 of assessed value. So we subtract the $7,500, so your net taxable value is $10,000. Why is that important? If you look down on the page, that net is what is applied to parish taxes. But the homestead exemption does not apply for city millages. So your assessed value that would be used is $17,500 before the homestead is taken off. Next. Now, let's talk about millages.
Conrad?
Yes.
Real quick.
Yes.
Is that why some people say they're paying doubles? Because if they have a business in the city, they also paying the city tax and the parish taxes. That's why you would combine that if you were a city resident?
Any person living in every city except Broussard pays parish tax and city tax. Broussard chose to have a sales tax applied as opposed to implementing their property tax.
Okay.
So it's zero there.
All right.
In the unincorporated area, only parish taxes are paid. So you pay millages for cities as well as parish taxes.
Gotcha. Okay. Continue.
All right, millages. A millage is expressed in the terms of mills. So your drainage district is 3.34 mills. Well, what is a mill? Well, the easy way to remember that is money. What is a dime? It's 10% of a dollar. What's a penny? It's 100%, 1/100th of a percent of a dollar. And a mill is simply 1,000th of a dollar. So it's just the next iteration in line. So it's 1,000th of a dollar. So 1 mill on a 10,000 assessment would generate $10. That's what that last line says. Easy enough? All right, let's go to the millage math. Here is the important equation for you to remember. The taxable assessed value multiplied by the millage equals the revenue. It's that simple. It's a pretty simple equation. So $1,000 of assessed value times 1 mil equals $1 in tax. 10,000 in assessed value times 1 mil is $10 in tax. Okay? Next. Let's look at that equation as we apply it in our businesses, yours and mine. 2019, the taxable assessed value was $2.3 billion. 349, you can see. Roads, highway, and bridges, millage was 2 mills. So you multiply that times 0.002, and that was the revenue generated or expected to be generated for 2019 from that millage. Well, I find that people kind of get mixed up, and sometimes I do too, on where to place that decimal point. Next. So here's the easiest way I find to explain this. You take that same equation, taxable assessed value, the millage divided by 1,000 equals your revenue. Let's look at the example. 2.3, multiply it times 2, divide by 1,000, and then you come up. And that way you don't have to figure out where to put that decimal. It's easy, it's quick. So you just look at the assessed value, multiply by the millage, divide by 1,000, boom. All right. I've been asked a lot about when did this millage start and when did that millage start. Up until 2 weeks ago, I could not have told you all that I did now. I finally found, after 19 years, a book that was hidden away somewhere that contained all the grand recaps going back to 1961. So now you can see when a millage started, in what year it started. That's this column. The 2019 levy. Now this one is blank. That library is blank from 1961. That was the oldest library millage. That was the one that was not renewed. Okay? If it says prior to 1961, that's because I haven't put my hands on those kind of records yet. I'm still looking, but one day I'll find them. I hope to anyway. All right. So you want to know which ones do you have control over? Because that page is all of the parish millages. School board, mine, Tesh Vermillion, Leda, Etta, everyone. Turn to the next page. These are the millages that the parish council will vote on. If you see, and now people ask me, when does it expire? Well, there's the column that tells you when it expires. If there is a 0, that means it does not expire. Okay? So those first two are your general fund millages. You can see the parish general alimony applies only in the unincorporated areas. Exempted municipalities applies only in the cities. And that includes Broussard too. All right. Let's go on to the next one. Now the city council will be voting on these millages. They expire in those years. I don't have when they began. I could not locate that. But these are the ones that the city council members will be voting on. And that's the millage that was levied in 2019, taxable value in the city, and then the revenue stream.
Mr. Conrad, do you have when roll forward, roll back on all these years? Am I jumping the gun, or you got that coming?
We're getting somewhere close to there.
All right. Okay.
All right. Let's go. Setting the millage rates. Each taxing authority must set its own millage rate. That means I set mine, the sheriff sets his, the school board sets theirs, et cetera, et cetera. And millage rates are set every single year. Remember, you will be voting on that every single year, and it's usually before September is when that takes place. And the millage rate can be no higher than the maximum rate established by law or by vote. Okay? Except, that last line, if the total taxable value decreases, then the millage can go up. I'll talk more about that in a minute. All right, to get to your question about reassessment. Reassessment occurs every 4 years, at least every 4 years, as mandated by the state constitution. At least. That means it could happen every year or every other year, whatever. The maximum millages are recalculated after every reassessment, meaning I'll go more into that in a minute. Each taxing authority must reset its maximum millage rate, and if the total taxable value increases, millages must be lowered to bring in the same revenue as the prior year. Now there's a caveat to that. I'll cover that in a little bit. Next. All right, here we go. Let's look at slide 16. If there's an increase in the total assessed value, then the millage has to go down. For an example, let's say that millage at 2019 was 2.35 billion. Multiply that times the 2 mills, you come out with a revenue of 4.7 million. Taxable assessed value by the millage equals revenue. Then, if in 2020, this year, that assessed value increases to 2.4 from the 2.35, then your millage has to go down to 1.95833 mils, or $4.7 million. Problem here is that Legislative Auditor's Office holds us to 3 digits behind the decimal. So you would have to round it down to 1.958. So you would only generate 4.699. Slight difference, but still a difference. Next. Here's the kicker. But by a 2/3 vote of the taxing authority, they can vote to maintain the same maximum millage as the prior year. So you could keep that 2 mils instead of the 1.958. Multiply that times the new assessed value, and you would actually bring in $100,000 extra than the prior year. Okay? Everybody, some of the older hands here have been through this process, so you know what I'm talking about. And let me state, if anybody in the audience or at home has a question, feel free to call my office for clarification, or if you want more information, we'll be glad to help you out there. So that is an important point to remember. Next. And if you remember nothing else about what I'm saying tonight, right here is the most important thing. If a taxing authority does not roll the millage forward to the new maximum prior to the next reassessment, the maximum millage is lost. I'll show you how that comes into play in a minute. Go ahead. For example, what I just showed you in 2019, there's the assessed value, 2.35 times 2 mils. In 2020, if you don't raise it to that 2 mils, you are stuck from then on at 1.958. All right, you lose that maximum. Now, state law says that you have to roll it to that maximum. You can roll it to that maximum anytime prior to the next reassessment. So it's a 4-year deal. So if you don't raise it in 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, when the next reassessment comes around, you lost that maximum. Critical thing to remember. Go ahead. What happens if the assessed value declines? And that happened in the mid-'80s. Many of you who were around in the mid-'80s in the oil crash, this is what happened. Total assessed value went down, which means you can raise your millage to bring in the same revenue stream. Go ahead. So let's use that same example. 2.35 billion times 2 mils brings in 4.7. If the total assessed value goes down to 2.3, you would have to, or you could raise your millage to 2.04 and bring in the same revenue stream as the prior year. Okay? Everybody get that concept? Now, you think, well, great, we can bring in the same revenue, we're doing fine. Well, not exactly. Your expenses are probably going up. So all it's allowing you to do is bring in the same revenue as the last year, which means you may have to make cuts just to make ends meet. Now, I will tell you that your current problems started with the first consolidated council. It didn't start with annexations. It had nothing to do with annexations. It was the council actions that crippled you and put you where you are today. No offense to them, they might not have been told the repercussions of not rolling those millages. I'm going to show you what the repercussions are right now. These are parish millages. Excuse me. If you look at this table, the first line says year 1995. the millage was 3.69. 1996 was a reassessment year. The council lowered it, as they had to by state law, to 3.16. But look what happened. For the next 4 years, they didn't increase to that maximum of 369. One Colomovan parish millage inside city. Now remember, these first two millages are your general fund millages for parish general fund. Was 1.84. They reduced it to 1.58. Did not go back to the 1.84. Come 2000, another reassessment year, my predecessor reassessed commercial property only. So they had to roll the millage down to 305. 2001, I came in, and because my predecessor had not done residential properties, the tax commission made me reassess. And look at what happened. Millage went down to 2.67. I argued with the tax commission that the maximum allowed should be the 3.16, and they said, you had a reassessment in 2000, and you had another one in 2001. You therefore lost the 3.16. Wow. So now you're at 3.05 instead of the 3.69. Go ahead.
What does that equate to dollar-wise? You coming? All right.
You're getting there. The difference it would have made from 96, in that 10-year period from 96 to 2006, 9.4 million for one, 10.3 for the other general fund millage for those 10 years. In 2005, those millages would have generated this extra amount. Here's the kicker. Click. What we have been talking about, your budget problems, are all right here, folks. Starting in 1995 and those next 4 years, if you had had these maximums in 2019, look at that courthouse and jail, 939,000 extra. You wouldn't be talking and arguing with the sheriff about, expenses. You'd have had plenty of money. You would have had the funds. The correctional facility, $800,000 extra in 1 year. That's where your problem started, in those years.
General fund would have had, what, for the parish, 405,000 more?
General fund would have been $1 million. Those two numbers right there, 622 plus 405, $1 million more.
And what we got right now, Laura? 50,000?
Yeah.
For real? Say it on the record. I got to hear this on the record. Come on, talk to me.
It's about 50.
Okay, thank you.
So that's where your problems, and actually they started further back than that. In 1976, that first millage was actually 4.0 mils, and that was going back until 1961. Then in 77, they had to roll it back, 78 rolled it back, and finally, in the mid-80s, when things tanked, remember you can raise your millage when things go down, so they raised the millage. That's how it got back up to that 3.69 and the 1.84. So there's the bad news, I guess, if you will. Next. But the bleeding didn't stop there, folks. Again, with the new consolidated council, look at 95 and 94, 15.57 went down to 13.21. They didn't increase to the maximum. Boom. City lost a couple of mills, 2.5 mills. Go ahead, Brian. Could have been 1557. Those 10 years would have been an extra $112 million. Go ahead. Go ahead. Additional funds in 2019, $4.2 million city revenue. That's staggering. That is staggering. Back up one. Couple, keep going back. Stop right here. Here is the problem, folks. Those first two millages, those general fund millages, are constitutional millages, meaning they will not be voted on again by the general public. You have no way of increasing that millage. No way. Unless the economy tanks again, which, heaven forbid, none of us want that. Those of us that lived through the 80s don't want that again. It was horrible. I'm sorry, but you can't raise those millages. The other millages, courthouse and jail, detention, et cetera, you put on a ballot every 10 years. The only one, as I mentioned earlier, LEADA is the one that doesn't expire. But all the rest of them, they expire, and you have to vote on them periodically. Now, go ahead. I don't want anybody to be confused. The current millages for the city are 17.94. The reason I'm showing these right here is I'm comparing apples to apples. In 2003, we added 3 mills for the fire, 3 for police, 2 mills for fire, but that wasn't on the books back in these days here. So I'm showing them just millages to millages, keeping them the same. Okay, next slide. Where do your parish tax dollars go? Here it is. Of all the money that is collected from parish millages, the bulk, as you can see, 40.6% is school board, parish government, 24.7%, and then you have sheriff at 20.3%, and the rest of us have just a small percentage of the total amount that is paid in parish taxes. Go ahead. Now, of your 24.7 in parish property taxes, it's broken out like this. We'll start at the bottom: roads and bridges, 20%, drainage, 16%, and then you can see jail, 10, juvenile detention, courthouse complex. That's the individual millages and how much they generate compared to the total collected.
You good. You got the floor.
If I may, a lot of people in the community will just say, don't spend your money on such and such department. Spend it, put it all on roads and bridges. Why are you even wasting money on,
Right,
pick something, I don't know.
right.
Doesn't matter. But I want you to maybe dig a little deeper into this.
These, what I'm showing you right here are dedicated millages, meaning where it says roads and bridges, you can only spend that on roads and bridges. Drainage, you can only spend that on drainage. Jail, on the jail, juvenile detention. The only one that you have really any discretion over is the general fund. But as you've seen, the general fund gets eaten up pretty doggone quick by the courthouse and jail deficits and other deficits. That's the only fund that you really have any discretion over. The rest of them, well, it's how it was voted on. And so that's why you just can't be moving money from one to another, parish funds, unless it's sales tax revenue. So I'm talking strictly property tax.
All right, and then you said they're dedicated, but then also the amounts that the millages are for are voted on by the people. So such and such having only one, we only have one millage for roads and bridges. Well,
Right.
that's because that's all the voters have ever approved. Others have been brought, others have been shut down. You know, X has this many millages. That's what the voters approve. That's, you know, it's up to the voters.
It's up to the voters.
Okay, thank you.
Conrad, hold on 1 second. Councilman Lewis, you have the floor.
Conrad, I see
Yes.
that you have two drainage. One of them is 16% and the health unit has 17%. How is that split it up, the health unit and drainage?
The health unit drainage is that 3.56 mills that combine the health unit, mosquito control, animal control. It was first put into those three. Then it was brought back to the people, and it was changed again and added drainage and create. That's the presentation that was given earlier. So that, when I say drainage up there, I lump it all together because as far as the legislative auditor is concerned, that is one millage. Now, y'all dedicated it inside that vote to those different things, but as far as we're concerned, it's one millage, 3.56 mills.
So that's divided. That 3-point-something millage is divided.
Yes, yes, yes. And so it's, I didn't want to put all the wording, but it's health unit, mosquito control, animal control, create, and drainage. It's all of that in that 17%.
All right, thank you.
Okay? Now, this slide comes right out of your budget. And it's how the general fund revenue is divided. And as I said earlier, ad valorem accounts for 32%. There's another 13% in other taxes, and then 36% is sales tax. Well, as I said at the beginning, what are your general three basic ways of raising revenue? Sales, property, and use tax. And you can see right there, that's the bulk of it. Yes, you get charges for services and intergovernmental things, but those are your three basic ones. Okay, next. Parish general fund expenses. You can see the breakdown there. If you want more detail, you can look in the 2019-2020 budget. But this is how the expenditures breaks out, and the bulk, I see, go down around. Oop.
I see that 3% public works. That's drainage, right?
Uh-huh.
Wait, say that again?
Well, yes, sir, it's Public Works.
Okay.
That's property tax and sales tax.
Laura, go ahead.
That's just what's in the parish general fund.
General fund.
There is another allotment of property taxes that's in your special revenue fund, so.
Right, but out of the
that's
general
just-
fund, 3%.
That's the parish general fund, yes, sir.
General fund. Right. Well, you see where the bulk of it is going.
Yeah.
The court system, jail, and what it sets, et cetera. Next. Now, I hear all the time that we pay such high property tax in Lafayette Parish,
Oh, I hear it too.
but I want you to see what other major metropolitan parishes pay in property taxes, in their millage rates. You can see from 2019, Lafayette Parish is the absolute lowest in the state. And those are the net taxable values from all the parishes, from Bossier on down to St. Tammany and New Orleans. So there you have that. Now, we're at the end, and if anybody has any more questions, I'll be glad to answer them. What I also handed out to you is a pamphlet or brochure, whatever, that I produced a few years back called Louisiana Property Tax Basics. And if anybody at home wants to read this, it spells out in more detail what I've covered tonight. And you can go to my website, LafayetteAssessor.com, go to home, look for topics of interest, click on it, and look for Louisiana Property Tax Basics, and you can read all about it. And for you, you have hard copies. Now, this last thing I'm going to give you is interesting of note. We talk about how to fund parish government. This is one of the pages that I came across in the big book, if you will, from 1972, I think it was. I apologize, I don't have a slide for that. But if you look at the very top of the page, you'll see there are some numbers going across the top. Those are just assessed values. Don't worry about those. Next thing down says state taxes. We used to have state property taxes. There was a 2-mill state tax, a Confederate veteran tax, a state school tax, a state university tax. So you were paying an additional 5 3/4 mills in state property taxes. We did away with that with a new constitution in 1974. But the other thing that I wanted you to notice is look down at the list of millages. And below the health unit maintenance, you'll see road district number 1, road district number 2, road district number 4A, sub-road district number 1, waterworks district 1, fire protection district 1, fire protection and water districts 2. I wanted you to see that because in a lot of other parishes today, they still have districts. So in lieu of a parish-wide tax, you can do district taxes. So if a certain area of the parish determines we want fire protection, then you can put that on a ballot and let the people in that district vote on that. If they want a drainage millage, they can do it in a district. You have a levy district, you have all kinds of special districts that can be set up in that regard. I just wanted you to see that up until, excuse me, I want to say maybe 1977, we had some districts like this. And then they all faded away and we combined them into just these general millages that we have today. But we did have some special districts set up in the past. So, just food for thought. Something of interest that caught my eye when I was doing all this. Any other questions or?
I don't see any other council questions. I see Mayor President has pressed the button, but I just wanted to again thank you, Conrad, and your team for coming and explaining to us. I know it's already going to be a long meeting, and I appreciate you coming and help educate us. I encourage my fellow council members and the public to please contact Conrad and use him as a resource and get more information from him. But again, thank you, Conrad. Thank you, Councilman, also.
This is Brian Fontenot from my office is assisting here.
Stay right there.
I'm ready.
Okay,
Yeah,
Mayor
Mr.
President,
Como,
you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And Mr. Como, thank you for that very informative presentation, and thank you to your assistant there. I think it benefited everybody that listened to it. Thank you, Councilwoman Hebert, for coordinating this. We have a shared drive at your convenience sometime this week. Could y'all email us this, and we'll post it on the shared drive and see if we can make it as accessible
It's on
as
this
possible.
laptop. It's stored on that laptop,
Okay.
on the desktop of that laptop.
All
If you
right.
want to just take it off of that.
Okay.
Probably easiest just to pull it off of that.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it, Mr. Chair.
I just want to tell you thank you again. I know I don't want to repeat what everybody said, but as you know, when we were doing the funding source committee, I've been on the council for 8 years, and the thing that always irritated me was the same thing of people saying, we pay enough in taxes, and I've always said, compare yourself to other parishes, and it just floors me. You showed me exactly where the money went and how it got there, because a lot of times government gets accused of overspending, and rightfully so in some cases. But Lafayette Parish, since '96, previous administration and councils have basically handcuffed this current council and administration. And if we don't start realizing what got us here and start figuring out how to get out of the hole, we're going to be putting our children and grandchildren in a very serious situation. And for Lafayette to be paying 82.9 versus all of Orleans at 145.40, we have a lot to brag about and show for the amount of taxes that we're paying. But the thing that this office gets and our staff gets is more requests for services. The services are not stopping.
Right.
And we have a lot of improvements that we have to make across the board as a government in roads and bridges and fire protection. But we're doing the best we can with what we have.
Right.
You know, and that's what the public has to understand. You're getting a lot for what you're paying for, and I'm grateful that we're continuing to put in Band-Aids, but at some point, this community is going to have to realize we're dropping further and further behind the 8 ball, and we're not going to be able to cut our way out of it eventually at some point. Yeah, can we shift some things here and there and make it feel good and sound good? Yes, but at the end of the day, I think what you have showed here is exactly what the parish council needed to see. It's what the public needs to see. It's what the media needs to inform the public. Because this parish council and administration has on the parish millages, and we have a lot to look at because we are behind the 8 ball, but this was very great that you came, and I want to thank Liz for making sure that this happens, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing on the parish council, little at a time, so the public understands it's not a matter of overspending, it's a matter of we got shorthanded revenue, but yet our services, demand for services are climbing, and when the state hits you with mandates on the jail and the courthouse, and I mean, you strapped, you know, and I know nobody likes taxes, and I get it, but the facts have to be put out there. It's not wasteful spending. It's we got handed a bad hand. We went to the casino, we got a bad hand. That's what happened. So thank you for your time, and I appreciate it. We're going to keep the meeting rolling along.
All right. Thank you. If anybody has any questions, feel free to call me.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right. Moving right along. We will now go to ordinances for final adoption. This is a public hearing, and blue sheets are available for anyone to address the council. There is a 5-minute rule that is in effect. Cindy, can you please read?
Joint Ordinance 6/2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council requiring membership in the parochial employees retirement system of Louisiana for certain new hires in those departments created by the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government Home Rule Charter, as well as the Lafayette City Court, inclusive of the Office of City Marshal, but exclusive of the judges of the City Court, and not including positions covered by the Municipal Police Employees Retirement System of Louisiana and the Firefighters Retirement System of Louisiana.
Okay, I need a motion and a second from the Parish Council. Motion by Councilman Tabor, second by Councilman Gilbo. At this time, Council Chair for the city will go ahead and get their
Okay, I need a motion and a second from the city council. Motion from Ms. Hebert and second from Mr. Andy Nakane.
Okay. Do we have any public comment on this?
No, sir.
Okay, please call the vote.
Parish District 1,
Yes.
Parish District 2,
Yes.
Parish District 4,
Yes.
Parish District 5,
Yes.
City District 1,
Yes.
City District 2,
Yes.
City District 3,
Yes.
City District 4,
Yes.
City District 5.
Yes.
The motion to adopt by the Parish Council is approved. The motion to adopt by the City Council is approved.
Okay.
Joint Ordinance 7/2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing the Lafayette Mayor President to enter into an intergovernmental agreement between the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government and the City of Broussard concerning the maintenance of Cypress Bayou Coulee, Lateral 1, and other channels.
Okay, need a motion and a second from the Parish Council. Motion by Councilman A.B. Rubin and second by Councilman Tabor. At this time, I'll turn it over to Chairman for the city.
Okay, I need a motion and a second from the city council. Motion by Mr. Andy Nakane and second by Council Lady Lynette Cook.
Okay, thank you so much. At this time, is there any public comment?
No, sir.
Call the roll.
Parish District 2,
Yes.
Parish District 3, Parish District 4,
Yes.
Parish District 5,
Yes.
Parish District 1,
Yes.
City District 2,
Yes.
City District 3,
Yes.
City District 4,
Yes.
City District 5,
Yes.
City District 1.
Yes.
The motion to adopt by the Parish Council is approved. The motion to adopt by the City Council is approved.
Thank you so much. Moving right along, we have appointments by council members, mayor, president, and/or other direct appointing authority. Please read.
Mayor President Josh Guillory appointed Benjamin Reshort to the Bayou Vermilion District for an 8-month term effective February 3rd, 2020.
Okay, thank you so much. We're going to move to introductory ordinance. At this time, I need a motion and a second to intro and global items 7 through 10 from the Parish Council.
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Gilbo, second by Councilman Tabor. At this time, I'm going to turn the mic over to the city chairman.
Okay, I need a motion and second to introduction of in global items 7 through 10 from the city council. Motion by Ms. Liz Hebert and second by Mr. Glenn Lazar.
Okay, go ahead, Cindy, please read. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Joint Ordinance 8, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing the non-warranty donation of the adjudicated properties at 504 South St. Antoine Street and 510 South St. Antoine Street to the Hub Lafayette Urban Ministries pursuant to Louisiana Revised Statute 472205. Joint Ordinance 9, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council reorganizing the Alarm Review Board. Joint Ordinance 10, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council reorganizing the City Parish Recreational Advisory Commission. Joint Ordinance 11, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council reorganizing the Lafayette Airport Commission.
Okay, is there any comments from the public?
No, sir.
All right. Any council discussion? Seeing none, please call the vote.
Parish District 4,
Yes.
Parish District 5,
Yes.
Parish District 1,
Yes.
Parish District 2,
Yes.
City District 4,
Yes.
City District 5,
Yes.
City District 1,
Yes.
City District 2, City District 3. The motion to introduce by the Parish Council is approved. The motion to introduce by the City Council is approved.
I adjourn the city council meeting.
I adjourn the joint meeting and the parish council meeting. Thank you so much. What's that? You have an announcement? Okay. Hold on one second. You have the floor, sir.
I had pressed the button, but
You want to do it now, or you want to save it for your city meeting?
no, here.
Go ahead, hit the button. Look on your,
It was on. Yeah.
okay, you good.
This comes from the Register of Voters Office, and it's to remind everyone that the presidential preference primary election will be held on Saturday, April 4th. It's a closed primary election. If you register Democrats, you get to vote for the Democratic presidential nominee. If you register Republican, you get to vote for Republican presidential nominee. The deadline to register to vote in person is March 4th. The deadline to register to vote online, March 14th. March 4th, tomorrow. Online is March 14th. Early voting will be held at the Register of Voters Office beginning Saturday, March 21st, ending Saturday, March 28th, with the exception of Sundays. Election Day, April 4th. Remember, this is the presidential primary election, very important election. Encourage everyone to register and vote. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Mayor President, real quick.
And to the councils and members of the public, I apologize. In my Mayor President's report, I should have announced three very important people to the administration, to our local government. Jamie Angel, if you could please stand up. Jamie is our newly hired Chief of Communications, and he's doing a great job. We also have Mr. Brian Smith and Warren Abity, if you could please stand. Brian Smith is our interim drainage director, and Warren is our interim traffic roads and bridges director. So really appreciate what these gentlemen bring to local government. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Meeting adjourned. Stay tuned. Lafayette City Council is coming up next. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, sir.